Well, who'd have thought we could have so much fun with a can of shaving foam? Choose your favourite brand. I tend to choose mine by the smell, because if you're working over it for any length of time, you need a bit of fresh air around you. So, what you can produce with that has to be seen to be believed. This workshop is about marbling onto papers, but it's just really good to know that whatever the fabric, you can design on it. The shirt I'm wearing, I could have marbled it. I just would have needed a bigger tray to lay it out on. So, yep, when you see the process, you'll very quickly understand how it all works and what you'll need. We're going to leave the fabrics, however, for another day. We just can't do everything at once. And I'll pop the bits and pieces we're not going to be using aside, but consider baby's bibs, elastic, ribbons, we'll keep the ribbon handy, little shoes, little hats, just so cute. Can you buy them like that in the shops? No. Have something that's individually yours. Socks. I'll leave, yes, the ribbon handy. So for today, we're into papers. All sorts of effects and colours. Papers that are handmade and individually yours. And wouldn't a set of this be really lovely as a gift, tied up with some hand marbled fabrics to match? What you're going to need. We're going to need some sort of a tray to put our shaving foam onto. We're going to need another sort of a tray. I've just got a cheap placemat here. Something that's nice and firm and smooth to then scrape the foam away. We're going to need an old hand towel, some tools. Tiling tools are great. Make sure they're plastic though. Some satay sticks or brush handles, or the end of a biro will work fine too. Maybe some plastic rulers instead of the tiling tools or scrapers. Totally up to you. You need something, as you'll see, to scrape things and get things happening. Oh, and of course we need our liquid Radiance colours. Now you can do this with food colouring, and if you're doing papers, well, that's fine. They just won't be light fast or colour fast in the long term. With liquid Radiance, because it is a product that will work on any fabric or fibre whatsoever, it is going to be permanent in whatever fabric you put it in, and of course it's going to be totally light fast on papers too. And I've got my little bottles of liquid Radiance. They're diluted 1 part concentrate to 3 parts water. I find you do need it reasonably strong for this technique, but no stronger than 1/4, 3/4. And while I'm telling you all that, I have taken my shaving foam and I am giving it a good shake. Shake it, baby. Sometimes the most difficult part of this technique is then getting that cap off. Yep, there we go. Onto my tray, I'm going to put a pad of shaving foam. Oh, no more than about 2 centimetres deep, a couple of fingers deep. And I'm going to do some formal marbling for starters. So I need to smooth that out using the ruler, or my scraper here. I like this because it's got a handle and I don't get as messy. Pop that up there for later. Now for the colours. I have all the caps closed. So we grip the cap, we turn the screwy bit until it stops, and we're ready to apply the colours to the foam. I'm not pouring it on, I'm just gently dripping it on. And as I apply the colours, I don't want them to meet up. Lime, some cyan, it's that lovely sea blue colour, printer's ink colour. And maybe some teal, which is a mixture of blue and green. There are only 9 colours in the range, but from those 9 pure pigment colours you can mix whatever you want, hundreds and hundreds of colours. There are some on the colour mixing guide that will get you going. Now for the satay stick. I'm going to use my stick to just stir those colours around. You can be as intelligent as you want with this, or as unintelligent as I am being, but basically the trick is to break up the blobs. You know, I could draw flowers, sort of. I could draw hearts, I could draw leafy things, but in the interest of time, let's just twiddle. This is going to produce a pretty nice pattern anyway. I've only done that about the size of a piece of paper that I'm going to work on, and I am working on A5 size pieces just so it can be quick and easy. I think you can quickly see if you wanted bigger pieces of paper, you just have a bigger pad of foam, chosen paper. We lay that on, we press that firmly into the colour, we lift it off, and that one came off nice and easily. Sometimes they come off with foam all stuck to them, sometimes they don't. How do we know what they'll do? We don't. We're just happy with what we get. Scrape off the excess foam, and even if that was absolutely covered in foam, scraping it is not going to smudge what has already taken to that surface. That's the magic bit. Just using an old hand towel now, I'm wiping across that, and my paper is done. It's dry enough to just pop with its mates there. It'll curl up in a moment. And I can keep printing from that. Let's do another one. And I'll get pretty much the same print. That's lucky. It doesn't always happen like that. When you're scraping the foam off, okay, so I've got a bit of foam stuck to that one, be careful with your scraper because the paper will be damp and you don't want to tear it. Just put that back in the middle of that, wipe it off, put it aside, done. I'm going to just comb that around a bit now to do something different. If I like what I see, and I do have a nice stripy pattern there, I could print that, or I could grab my satay stick and make a pattern in this. With this style of marbling, the colour remains in the foam. If you're working on a gel style of marbling, the colour is removed each time you take that layer of colour off. And that's a totally different story. We can talk about that another time. But this time it's fun on the shaving foam. Now this will be a much more subtle pattern, but what I've drawn there now appears on my paper. You'll find that some of these papers are the bold and bright, and then as you work through the pad of foam, you get into the soft and subtles. A much more suitable one for note paper, for example, because the ones that come off the foam with the colours freshly applied. Come here, satay stick, what are you running away for? Yeah, when the colours are first applied, they will be strong colours. Let's try something different. I just love this one. Heaping up your foam and going hunting for the colours within the foam is just brilliant, because you never know what you're going to get. This is very informal marbling. Yes, you can do this on fabrics as well. But what we don't get to talk about today is the heat setting of the fabric. If you need information about that, just contact me. Or hunt down heat setting information on my website. Okay, very, very different things happening there. The patterns are swirly, but at this stage they're really soft. So let's heap them up and see what else we can do. So paper crafters, haha, isn't this one going to be fun? Right, if I want to add more colour to that, while I've got this in what I call a buffy heap, I can add more colours and comb them through. Not so delicately this time as I did with the satay stick before. Can I add different colours? Yeah, why not throw in a bit of purple, just for fun. Give that a bit of a stir. If I think I might need some more colour strength in there, pop a bit more in. Give that a bit of a work around, breaking up the blobs again. Let's see what we can find in that heap. And truly guys, once I start playing with this, you've lost me. I can just go on and on and on and on, having fun. And it's amazing how long these shaving foam pads will last. Here we have absolutely no idea what's going on underneath that foam. I don't want to leave it on there too long, it'll make the paper get soggy. Let's get that scraped off gently. Yes. Interesting. And quite beautiful. And there's some lime popping up in there as well. When you're working with your colours, we know what happened to our plasticine or our Play-Doh when we were kids, and it just went into mud or into grey. It is very easy to get these colours going into your grey tones or your brown tones if you start mixing across the colours on your colour circle. So I've stuck to the side-by-side colours at this stage, but if I were to start adding yellows and reds into that and, well, whatever I wanted, I could quite easily end up with browny, greyy tones. Now start adding the browns and the blacks back into that and you will end up with genuine, not quite genuine, Italian marble, and the results can be absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so be adventurous with your colours. Shall we get adventurous? Why not? I'll throw a bit of red in. And maybe a bit of my Erky Murky Dirty Purple, Aubergine, or Genesis Purple. A bit of yellow. This is getting offbeat. We'll comb them through. And go hunting for the colours in there. Now this could be also showing you what not to do, because at this stage I have no idea what's going to happen. I want you to play like this too and see what you can create. What you need to think about when you're working with papers in scrapbooking in particular is there are times when you need acid-free. The paper that I'm using is acid-free. Liquid Radiance is pH neutral and therefore acid-free, but shaving foam isn't. So be aware of that when you're working with shaving foam, you may need to use something like an archival spray, and neutralise any acids. Oh, that's rather nice. Sorry, I got interrupted by my own playing, didn't I? Yeah, be aware of the fact that you will need to neutralise the acids of the shaving foam when you want to put these papers with your delicate photos and things that are going to be affected by acids in your work. But apart from that, these need no extra treatment whatsoever. When you get your shaving foam pad to quite murky or dark, and this isn't at this stage, it is really fun, try and get that a bit more even, to then add little blobs of the shaving foam back in and start combing them around. Little blobs, come on, just a few little blobs. So I can be creative with those and make little swirly things happening. Or I could simply comb it through the foam and have white bobbing up. If I got nice little blobs of foam coming out there, I could have made little starry things. Are we getting the impression it's playtime? Sure is. And you won't see a distinct pattern here yet because this foam pad is not really strong colour yet. But I couldn't let the session finish without showing you that one little extra thing. Delicate, but there. Maybe if I give you a closer look, you will actually get to see those little whitish bits in there. So playing on shaving foam really is playing away to your heart's content. When you've had all the fun, it's time to get rid of the shaving foam and clean up. All your equipment will just clean up with soap and water. The shaving foam, we can actually dispose of that just the same way as the guys get rid of the shaving foam off their faces. We can put it down the sink, but don't put them down a ceramic or a plastic sink because the colours of liquid radiance can stain those surfaces if there are any scratches or cracks in them. So I like to put mine down my stainless steel sink in the laundry or in my studio sink outside. If you want really, really nicely perfumed garbage bins though, pop it into a garbage bag and then pop it in the bin and you'll have the nicest smelling bin in the neighbourhood and a whole heap of papers and fun things to do as well. So I hope you enjoy having a play with your favourite shaving foam and a few bits of basic equipment from around the house. The good news is if you do use an old scone tray from the kitchen, you can wash it up. The product's all non-toxic, so you're going to be able to just keep going with the cooking or whatever tray you've used and keep working with it for food as well as for your fabrics. Thank you for joining me. Have fun.